Okay, we're back. And you know what this means. One who actually planned on killing our orchestrator that night was... Grace. There's only one other explanation. You took that knife of your own volition, didn't you? What? It's the only way this would make sense. It wasn't your husband. You were the one behind Orchestrator's death. Yeah. But how can this be? We know that the witness first went into the dining room when the game began. She must have taken the knife and hidden it without Mr. Iving seeing her. And then when the two of them parted ways, she went to the lounge where her husband was. At first I thought that this was the point where she would have passed the weapon over. We've just proven that Ronald couldn't have known Grace would pick up that knife. Meaning that he probably isn't the killer in this case. Grace, on the other hand, would have had the same chance as her husband to reach the crime scene via the secret passage in the library. Access to the weapon. Access to the crime scene. It's entirely possible that you were the true culprit, Grace Barr. If Ronald Barr is innocent, that would leave this witness as the last possible culprit. Please wait. Aren't you forgetting that the defendant might also be guilty? But you already admitted that you were the one who had the murder weapon. In that case, Mr. Wright couldn't be the killer. What if I lied about taking the knife? You lied? And what would possess you to do such a thing? I exercise my right to remain silent on that matter. You've got to be kidding me. As it stands, I'm afraid it's the defendant's word against mine. No. Have I just ruined our entire case? It's okay, Athena. We knew this might happen. The important thing is we're one step closer to finding the truth. Mr. Wright. Of course, the fact is that you were caught lying to the court. Doesn't help you, witness. Plus, the defendant doesn't have any discernible motive. Are you saying I do? Well, STRATER did hand you one of these envelopes, didn't he? That means you're still hiding something. I'm sorry, but do you intend to work for the defense now? Don't look at me like that. Just think of it as me advancing the discussion. He's trying to bait her into giving us more information. Fine. You want to know about my role in the game? We appear to have another testimony ahead of us. Indeed. Very well, Mrs. Barr. When you're ready. This is where we get to use the pendant, isn't it? My role in the murder mystery game was the seductress. All I had to do was reveal my role to the thief. Of course, I realized that could only have been Connor. You see, I completed my task, so even if I was hiding something, I wouldn't need to kill STRATER. Problem number 1. Do we present Ronald's role? Looks like we're back to this argument again. How can we be sure that the witness really did complete the task she was given? Objection! Do you think so little of the police, Fraulein? Of course, Herr Iving was asked about this after we found out about the witness's role. He knew about her role as the seductress. She apparently told him when the two were in the dining room together. Yes, you're kidding. That's pretty solid evidence. You're missing the second line of... Okay, you're... now what? I'm griping about missing the second line of that envelope, but that's just baiting us into presenting that as evidence in a testimony. Your cross-examination, Miss Sykes, so I can't get too angry about that. What do you have to say for yourself? Why were you given a role like that? What do you mean? Aside from myself and Mr. Wright, all of the guests had roles that alluded to some secret about them. Iving stealing money from the company, Ken removing evidence from the scene 3 years ago, and your husband being the one behind the scandal at Bar Link. They were used to blackmail them into playing along with the game. We still don't know what STRATER was holding against you. Our role being called the Seductress raises some interesting ideas. I'm sorry, but is that really important right now? Even if I was hiding something, I wouldn't need to kill STRATER. And why is that? The thief would have been Connor Iving, right? Is that why you two were sneaking around together all night? That's right. I showed him the envelope I was given when we were alone. In that case, you must have learned who the thief was pretty quickly. How'd you manage that? This is the most interesting part. You said it like it should be obvious. How did you learn so quickly that the thief was supposed to be referred to Iving? Well, I knew that Connor was behind the stolen money at Bar Link. How could you know that? Not only that, but why did you not tell your husband about it? Does it matter? I knew what I knew. Once I realized that the roles we were given were of personal significance, I knew that the thief could only have been Connor. Anyway, you already have proof that I told him what my role was that night. That's the only thing of importance right now. Yes, I suppose you're right. Looks like I should leave this point for another time. We've already shown that the killer could have a motive besides our roles. What if you were trying to hide your involvement in Isla STRATER's murder? All the witness did was move a knife from one room to another. Not to mention that her husband had threatened her to do so. Whatever repercussions the witness would have faced would surely not warrant another murder. And what if this whole threatening business was a lie? Remember what Mr. Barr told us? He said that the witness agreed to his plan from the beginning. Oh? So you chose to believe my husband only when it's convenient for your case. It's my word against the word of a proven killer. I think we both know which of us is more likely to lie. I have to agree, Fraulein. This is not the hill that you want to die on. In other words, Clavier is hinting that I should take a different approach. Is it me, or has Mrs. Barr come out of her shell a little more since we first met her? You're right. She's not aggressive by any means, but she's definitely pushing back a lot harder now. Maybe she's not as frail as we'd thought. It's been proven that Grace did reveal her role to Connor that night. The question is, does that mean she couldn't have had a motive to kill Arcus that night? Now, do I present her role or Ronald's role? Ronald's role. Both might have worked. Looks like there's an important detail you missed in your testimony, Mrs. Barr. If I didn't know any better, I'd think that you left it out on purpose. Excuse me? Let's take another look at your role, shall we? Your role is the Seductress. Goal: identify the thief and reveal your role to them. So far, so good. We've seen that you managed to do exactly that. The real issue comes along when we look at the next part. Having your role revealed to a guest besides the thief will be considered a failure. In other words, even if you did tell Mr. Iving what your role was, STRATER would have revealed your secret anyways if that information was leaked to anyone else. But how do we know if that little addition is relevant at all? You know full well that it is, Prosecutor Gavin. After all, we already know that one other person knew what this witness's role was. It was her husband, Ronald Barr. He! Recall what Ronald Barr had to do to achieve his role. Discover the roles of every other guest. When he took the stand earlier, Mr. Barr was able to prove that he did just that. If that's the case, it means that you failed to complete the goal that STRATER gave to you. Interesting that STRATER would design the couple's roles so that only one of them could succeed. It's almost as if he was trying to turn the two of them against each other. He succeeded. If the witness did not complete the goal that was written on your envelope, that means that the victim would have revealed whatever secret she was hiding. But I'm not hiding anything. We already know that's not true. The evidence proves that STRATER had information to blackmail all the suspects from 3 years ago. That would include you as well. And now that we know that this information was guaranteed to come out, I'm afraid that gives this witness a motive for STRATER's murder. How can you say that? But besides, Ronald only found out what my role was when we were in the lounge. But according to you, I could only have picked up the murder weapon before that time. Huh? Actually, that doesn't make sense. You know that Grace couldn't have gone to the dining room after she met Ronald in the lounge. There's another explanation. Ms. Barr did pick up the murder weapon before going to the lounge. Even if her role hadn't been revealed, there was still a chance that it would be. But she took that knife as a precaution, but didn't intend to use it unless she had to. If that were the case, then when Mr. Barr looked at her envelope... Right. It was that moment that sealed STRATER's fate. I don't suppose you have any proof of all that? Of course, yes, that. Proof or not, we've still shown that you had a motive to kill Arcus STRATER. Something that Mr. Wright lacks, which would make you a much more reasonable suspect. Ah! Do you have anything to say in response to this witness? Miss Lawyer, I dare say you're getting ahead of yourself here. Was this? Oh. Now what do you want? I don't think you can reasonably claim that my wife had any kind of motive to kill STRATER. Excuse me? Weren't you trying to throw her under the bus earlier? Now you're suddenly interested in arguing for her? Even when she had testified against you? All I'm saying is that we're missing one important thing. Yes, Arcus would have revealed Grace's secret that night. But how can you claim that it would drive her to murder when we don't know what that secret is? For all we know, it could be something fairly mundane. Yes, I suppose that's true. But the witness really committed murder to hide her secret. Ronald, no. So this was your plan? Plan? Dirty, rotten, underhanded. But now we're in a position where we are forced to comply. Say whatever you like. My point still stands. If the lawyer wants to make her accusation stick, she'll listen to me. Why do I get the feeling that we're being baited? Probably because we are. Then what do we do? I guess we take the bait. Go ahead and tell us. What was that secret that Arcus held of my wife? Grace's secret. It's got to have something to do with her role. Seductress. In that case, the secret that STRATER was using to blackmail Grace was... theft, murder, adultery, or blackmail? Adultery. This is the only possibility that seems reasonable to me. Mrs. Barr, there's, really no nice way of putting this. Okay, so, to be clear, Ronald Barr is not did not slip back onto the stand to defend his wife. He's very clearly baiting us into telling the world her secret, to take her down with him. Rich people. You were having an affair, weren't you? Miss Sykes. Even if that were true, is this really an appropriate time for such a discussion? Actually, it's the perfect time. Is that the secret that STRATER used to blackmail her? It's the seductress, which would make sense. But that's not all, is it? You know who this other person that Grace was seeing is, don't you? The person Grace cheated on her husband with could only be Connor. Grace was required to reveal her role to the thief in secret. Considering that, I think the person that she was seeing must have been Mr. Irving. A secret affair with a man who was stealing from her husband. Oof. Guess it also explains the way the two of them were acting around each other. Yes, now you understand. One question, Airbar. Did you know about all this? I'd suspected it from quite some time, but was never able to prove anything. But would such a secret really drive this witness to murder? It's not just the affair. What do you mean? Grace's family, the Gildings, became quite close to the Barr family after our wedding. Our marriage was a great boon to them, financially speaking. Of course, if it was revealed that Grace had been unfaithful, a divorce would have followed. Not only would she lose the support of the Barr family, but she would also be ostracized by the Gildings for her actions. Kicked out and demonized by her own family and left with nowhere to go. I suppose something like that might have driven her to murder. Oh no. It seems that this witness did have a probable motive after all. Of course. Whilst I didn't realize it at the time, this was exactly the reason that Grace aided me in the murder of STRATER's daughter. Although we were not yet married at the time, our families were already making arrangements. The marriage was intended to improve relations between the Barr family and the Gildings. Were Grace's affair revealed before that time, the wedding would be called off for certain. So Isla knew about Grace's affair from her time at Barr Link? I suppose that must be how STRATER found out about it as well. And now Grace has committed murder to keep that secret hidden. She was the one who killed Arcus. I witnessed it myself. You witnessed it? I think it's about time that I tell you the whole truth of what took place in the lounge that night. No, don't listen to him. Oh wow. There you are, darling. You and Connor have been speaking for quite a while. Yes, well, we were just catching up. I see you're still holding on to your envelope there. Don't suppose you would mind if I took a look at it. Wait, you can't. Nonsense. Give it here. The seductress. What is this supposed to mean? It's just a game. It doesn't mean anything. So, my suspicions were correct. The envelope mentions the thief. Judging from where you've been, I take it that's Connor. Yes, Connor is the thief. Tisk! I should have known. Seems I can't trust anyone, can I? Perhaps I should go have a word with him myself. Wait! I brought you something. Take it. What? What do you expect me to do with this? It's obvious, isn't it? You don't want Arcus to reveal your role, do you? Oh? How do you know that my role is anything worth hiding? Considering the circumstances, it's only one thing it could be. The same thing we covered up 3 years ago today. Or am I wrong? So this is your plan. Forget it. I won't help you this time. I don't need to. Thanks to you, I've managed to complete my task. What? Now I won't have to worry about Arcus spilling anything. And, judging from what I read in your envelope, I get the added benefit of seeing you revealed for who you really are. Game over, darling. Looks like I win. You win? Is that what you think? Oh. I'm afraid I can't allow that. What did you say? The secret contained in that envelope might be safe. But you and I both know why Arcus made us play this game. So what? You really think he won't find out what you did? I heard that lawyer he brought in is quite famous. If something doesn't happen to stop the game. Hold on. Don't forget that you had a hand in that incident as well. I don't think you're in any position to coerce me. But all I did was move a knife from the dining room. That's not a crime. After you threatened me so menacingly that night, how could I refuse? Excuse me? I did nothing of the sort. No? I wonder if the police would believe that. Grace? Darling, think about this for a second. Don't call me that. I won't do it. There's no way that they could find out about it. That sound. It came from the library. Sounds familiar, huh? The lawyers were in there with that kid earlier. I heard them. They opened it then, too. Still think that they won't figure it out? Fine. Seems I'll have to take matters into my own hands. Wait, you! If you'd rather keep what happened 3 years ago a secret, I'd stay quiet about all this. And with that, she went through the north door into the library. Wow. Order, order, order. I just feel bad right now. Like, legitimately, we're airing a married couple's dirty laundry. Is this all true, Mr. Barr? Would I lie to you? Why didn't you say any of this until now? Didn't I just tell you? Grace threatened to reveal what happened 3 years ago. Even after you were accused of Isla's murder, you stayed silent. Why didn't you tell us about this when you were later accused of killing Arcus STRATER? It was because of this. Grace Barr's role. Herr Barr had been very naughty. Even after his own fate was sealed, he used this trial to his advantage. Am I right? Looks like you saw through me. I can admit that none of this went according to plan. And the most infuriating part is that I'm only in this mess because of my wife's crime. That's why I made a vow. If I'm going to prison, I'll at least reveal the secret that Grace was so desperate to hide. I'll make her confess, so that I can finally hear those words in prison. In person, rather. In prison too, very soon, but what on earth are you talking about? Are you serious? You put us through all of this just so you could have your petty revenge. Oh boy, he's a narcissist and a sociopath. Oh my god. That mix right. I love it. Had I revealed my hand too soon, we ran the risk of skipping over the motive discussion altogether. So I decided to keep quiet until the time was right. Drag things out a little longer. Even tried to accuse Mr. Wright at that point. Truth is, I was just biding my time until Grace herself was called to the stand. True, it did throw a wrench in things when I was nearly convicted for Arcus's murder as well. But luckily for me, you put a stop to that, Mr. Prosecutor. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I didn't do what I did for your sake. All I want is the truth. My clavier voice changes every time, and I'm still sorry for that. What a coincidence, so do I. And now we'll both get what we want, because it's time for our culprit to confess. My wife was having an affair. That's the truth. Witness. I have nothing to say, Your Honor. I confess to nothing. She's denying it. Tisk! Step into the very end, eh? I was hoping to hear you confess to it yourself. I suppose exposing you as a liar as well as a cheat will be just as satisfying. Luckily for me, there's evidence that proves the lawyer's accusation. There is? You're really not so good at this whole thinking thing, are you? Remember how you were able to prove that I was involved in the data leaks? Arcus's daughter compiled information on everyone at Bar Link and passed it on to her father. Right. Those files that Clavier took from Arcus's body. They also proved that Connor Iving was the one stealing money from the company. And you think Strater had evidence to suggest that Grace was having an affair as well? It's incredibly likely. Every one of these roles were received by the guests that were used that were used as blackmail. Strater had evidence to back those claims up. The financial reports, and his recreation of that letter that his daughter wrote. Why would this time be any different? Go ahead, Mr. Prosecutor. Show us the proof. Yes, well, about that. You're kidding me. Wait, what? You don't have it? It's true that Strater wrote her father some notes on the witness's affair. He seems certain that Grace Barr was romantically involved with Connor Iving. But as far as physical evidence goes, search the manor after Strater's murder turned up nothing. Really? That's impossible. You must have just missed it. I assure you, Airbar. The police looked everywhere. Strater was carrying those Bar Link reports on his person when he died. It's probably to keep them safe from the guests during the game. So why wasn't there any proof of this affair found on his body along with them? Obviously it's because there was no proof to begin with. The stolen pendant is the proof. The stolen pendant is the proof. Connor pickpocketed it from Grace at 9:45, which is when she would have been back from doing a murder, and she took this off of Arcus's body. Oh shit! This is where it comes up. Arcus's daughter was mistaken. I've been nothing but faithful to my husband. Which is frankly more than he deserves after he's made up such terrible lies about me. I highly doubt that Strater was wrong about this when he was so on top of everything else. You can doubt it all you like, but it doesn't change the facts. Without evidence of the witness's affair, you can't prove a motive. And without a motive, we have no reason to suspect her over air right. Seriously? What about Connor Iving? You could testify about his relationship with that witness. Oh? You really think that Connor would do that for you? Even after you dragged his reputation through the mud already? If what you were saying was true, I think he'd have as much to lose as I do. Oh, but I can't speak for the man. Call him up if you like. What she's inviting us can only mean that she's sure he won't say anything. It's like Iving won't be of any help. I need solid physical evidence. Where do I even find that? Athena. Did I get too cocky? Should I have just taken the not guilty verdict when I had the chance? Because of me, Mr. Wright is going to... Fraulein. Thank you for putting your faith in me. Without you, we would never have gotten so close to the truth. Close? But... hush. Now it's my turn. I'm putting my faith in you, Fraulein. Oh, what do you mean? There have been so many twists and turns in this trial. And to be frank, you've handled them all expertly. You're a natural. And yet, you seem so unsure of yourself all the time. I'm still just a rookie. We all were at some point, Fraulein. Even Herr Wright and I had a day where we stood in the court for the very first time. But so what? Do you think that you'll just stop feeling like a rookie one day? How long does it take? A year? 3? 7? Self-confidence isn't just about having experience. What matters is what's inside you at this very moment. And that's why if you don't have any faith in yourself, then I'll simply give you mine. Prosecutor Gavin. Straight to the heart. He's right, you know. Boss? You've been through tough times. Taken some difficult cases. You got more than enough experience to see you through this. Now all you need is the confidence to know that you can do it. Mr. Wright. Prosecutor Gavin. Thank you. Thank you for your trust in me. Hello? Could you all stop patting each other on the back and accuse my wife of murder already? Quiet, you. Well, Miss Sykes, do you have any evidence for the court at this time? Evidence, huh? There has to be something. Which means all I have to do is find it. Allons-y! It's time to solve this case once and for all. Oh. Oh, fuck. Here we go. Let's start over from the beginning. Orchestrator set this game up to solve the mystery of his daughter's murder. Invited the 4 suspects to his manor, along with Mr. Wright and myself. Forced the suspects to play along with his game. STRATER blackmailed them. Using the roles he handed out before the game, which alluded to secrets about each guest. He also had proof of each of these secrets except... no evidence of Grace Barr's affair with Connor Iving was found by us or the police. The question is, where was that evidence when the game began? Okay, inside the manor? Outside the manor? It never existed. Inside, of course. Proof must have been in the manor somewhere. Specifically, it was being held by this person. Arcus had it. Right. It was being held by STRATER. STRATER was the one carrying those reports from Bar Ling. And he set up this murder mystery game by himself. It makes sense. So why didn't the police find that evidence after the murder? They found the evidence surrounding the other 3 guests, so... Actually, that's not entirely true, is it? Because the proof that STRATER was using to blackmail this person wasn't found by the police. Bar, Forza, and Iving. Forza, right? Because we found it? Oh yeah! STRATER's recreation of his daughter's letter. STRATER left it in the study to encourage Ken to steal it back from him. So why didn't the police find that piece of evidence in the manor? We took it. Of course. Mr. Wright and I took it before the police ever arrived. That made sure that the police never found it during their investigation. Does that mean that someone took the proof of Grace's affair from STRATER that night? If that's the case, then who took it from him? Grace. Oh, okay. Right. Grace could have been the only one who took it. That means that the person who was carrying the evidence that we were looking for was Grace Barr herself. I've got it. I know where the evidence is. Alright, here we go. You do. STRATER did have proof of the witness's affair. It's more than likely that he was carrying it on his person on the night of the murder. It means that the killer could have just taken it from his body after killing him. Ah! I suppose they could. Could isn't good enough. The fact is that you can't prove that Arcus was carrying anything if it's gone. You certainly can't prove that I have anything to do with it going missing. If Grace did find what she was looking for on STRATER's body. I'm sure she would have disposed of it by now. Oh? I suppose she might have. But maybe she never got the chance. Huh? Fraulein, you know what it is, don't you? The proof that this witness took from Herr STRATER's body. Looks like we're on the same page. Well, I'm not. What the hell are you two talking about? If you've got proof that Grace did it, then show us already. Could you please be quiet? Anyways, I got your proof right here. Here's the evidence that's going to prove Grace Barr's guilt. It's the pendant. This pendant? How did you get that? Connor Iving presented this pendant to the court as proof that he had completed the task he was assigned in the murder mystery game. This pendant? You stole this. Only for the purposes of the game. I fully intended to return it, but never got the chance. I snatched it from Grace's pocket just before the body was found. It was about 9:45 in the main hall. Pardon me, 9.45. He stole it from me? He was clearly quite eager to keep his secret hidden. So what? What does that pendant matter? Don't you see? This is what you've been looking for all this time. Huh? There's a very good chance that this pendant is the proof that STRATER used to blackmail your wife. I mean, just take a look at the inscription on the back. With all my love, C. C. For Connor, perhaps? You're saying that this pendant was a gift from Herr Iving to this witness. That doesn't prove anything. C could refer to anyone. Oh? But nobody else involved in the case has a name starting with C. I suppose there's my last name, but we've already established that Mr. Wright and I aren't involved in this case as the rest of the guests are. Then how do you know that Connor gave the pendant to me, specifically? Simple. Because you were the one that had the pendant when Iving stole it. But Miss Sykes, I thought you said that this pendant was the witness's blackmail. Correct. This pendant was STRATER's proof of the witness's affair, which means that the victim was carrying the pendant when the party began. But this witness had it with her after the murder occurred. That would mean... Exactly. Grace Barr took the pendant from STRATER's body after she murdered him. No! If the pendant truly was on the victim's person, there should be traces left somewhere on it. Well, Miss Barr? What do you think we'd see if we ran a luminol test on this? Traces of the victim's blood, perhaps? Please, no. Connor, why? I trusted you. You knew what would happen if that pendant got out. I do find it a little weird that Connor didn't recognize what he stole from her. I've no doubt that you were correct in saying that Herr Iving would want to hide your affair. In all fairness to him, I'm sure he did not expect our discussion to reach this point. But I regret to inform you, witness, that your secret lover jumped at the chance to reveal this pendant. I suspect that clearing himself of suspicion was the only thing he cared about at that time, and that he was willing to deal with whatever implications arose from this piece of evidence. Can't be. Ah, yeah. That's the other answer. It's not that he didn't recognize it. It's just that he didn't give a shit. Connor, even you? It's time to bring this twisted game to an end. Grace Barr. You're the murderer. And that's my final answer. Ding, ding, ding. You're right. You couldn't possibly understand. You couldn't possibly understand how it feels to have no one in your life who cares about you. No one who gives a damn. To have your own family treat you as nothing more than a bargaining chip. To gain favor with some pompous, arrogant, cruel man. A man who only wants you as a trophy to have by his side in public appearances. A man who would go so far as to murder a young girl without a second thought. all to protect his own twisted image. And you couldn't possibly know how it feels. For your family, for the people who raised you, to threaten to kick you out on the streets and leave you to rot, simply for suggesting that who you marry should be your own choice. I was raised to never argue, never put my own wants and needs above those of the family. And the one time I do, one time I dared to spend time with a man who actually seemed to care about me as a person. It leads to this. These pointless deaths. Now that I've been exposed, the STRATER family died for absolutely nothing. Do you think I wanted that? Do you really? Now this comes out. This stupid pendant. Well, guess he didn't even really care either, did he? That's right. Not even him. Ow. I'm done. I'm finally done. Let it be known that this is the day that I, Grace Gilding, finally gave up. And let me just say, at the bottom of my heart, to hell with all of you. That hurt. That stings. That really stings. Prosecutor Gavin, where is our witness? She's been taken into custody, Your Honor, along with her husband, who, might I add, did not shut up once as he was removed from the courthouse. What a pompous jackass. It appears that this sad story has come to an end, and the murder mystery has finally been solved. Congratulations, Fraulein. You successfully fulfilled Herr STRATER's final wish. Guess so, huh? You did well. You should be proud of yourself. If there are no further objections, I shall now hand down my verdict. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Court is adjourned. Alright. Congratulations, Daddy! I just knew that Athena would be able to get you off the hook. You really were impressive back there. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about anything that just happened. Understandable, considering we just got a lot from... That was a lot we just got unloaded on from poor Grace. Yeah, that was pretty messed up, huh? It's definitely a tricky one. But the important thing is that the truth came out in the end. And hey, at least one good thing came from this case. Thanks to the STRATER family, all the corruption surrounding Bar Link was rooted out. Yeah. Looks like that mess of a company is gonna go through some reforms. Does this mean I'm gonna have to find a new place to post the pictures for my show? That trial really did rock, Fraulein. Okay, so maybe it ended on a bit of a somber note. But I had a lot of fun in our first real jam session. Prosecutor Gavin, thank you for your help today. No need to praise me, Fraulein. Well, maybe a little bit. Praise me more. But everyone knows that you were the real star of the show in there today. I'm sure a certain large, four-headed individual would be impressed with how far you've come, too. What's gonna happen now? Those responsible will be put on trial for what's been revealed here today. That includes the murder 3 years ago, as well as everything going on at Bar Link. Even our friend, the thief, was taken in for questioning a little while ago. Right, the embezzlement scheme. But hey, that's none of your concern now. Go celebrate your victory. I'll wrap things up here. See you at our next performance, Fraulein. Looking forward to it. The defense team? You'll find them through that door. Awesome. Thanks, dude. Sup? Hi, Ken. What brings you here? I wanted to thank you, dudes, for clearing up everything that happened 3 years ago. I wanted to say I was sorry for not telling you guys the whole truth straight away. At least the one responsible for the death of your girlfriend will finally be tried for his crimes. I hope that gives you some form of closure, at least. Closure? Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, it really is a huge waste. I mean, just think about it. STRATER's daughter. What? If I had gotten in good with her, I'd never need to work at that crappy auto shop again. What? Sure. Ayla could get pretty annoying at times. Always so clingy. Oh no. Oh no. You're taking the only redeeming character and throwing him out. Okay. What the fuck? With money like that, I could totally put up with it, you know? What? You're serious, aren't you? Oh well, plenty more fish in the sea. Can't be too hard to find another rich girl with a screwed up home life, right? Jesus Christ. What the hell's wrong with you? Are you that stupid? You're right. I'll probably have to put some effort into this time around. Anyway, later, dudes. Hit me up if you got any car troubles. Holy fuck. Well. Well, goddamn, Ken. Fuck off. Where's my best Gordon Ramsay voice? Fuck off out of here! Just right? I've come to realize that everyone else involved in this case sucks. Huh. Well, let me tell you something. There's one very important lesson I've learned from being a lawyer for such a long time. What's that? People really are the worst sometimes. You've got that right. Oh, baby, you got that right. Game of Turnabouts. Well, on that note, this has been a game of Turnabouts. And holy fuck did I have fun. Oh. I was say, obviously, I've played a lot of a certain vein of fan games, which were really, really good works of fiction, which didn't always translate over to a fan game format the best. I'm looking at you, a certain masked dude. But this was a great fan game. It got that balance of a mystery that felt good solving and a really compelling narrative, I think. There were only like 1 or 2 points in each testimony which were which I bogged down on. I think that was in part 2. Oh. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the case. Oh, it's Apollo and Kirain. What do you think? Wow. That's crazy that all that happened to you guys. Still, though, sounds like you did well. Well, I did get a lot of help from the boss. Oh, and Prosecutor Gavin, too. Don't sell yourself short. You should be proud. Thanks. Anyway, when are you gonna come back and visit us at the agency? I'll be back soon, I promise. As soon as things calm down a little bit here, that is. Hey, AJ, what's the holdup over there? This yak won't milk itself. Sounds like you're busy. You don't know the half of it. I should get going. Say hi to Trucy and Mr. Wright for me. Will do. Beep. Oh. A nice little cameo from post-Spirit of Justice. Alright. On that note, it is well and truly the end. God, I really enjoyed that. Oh. I gotta say, it is incredibly difficult to write a good mystery that you, especially in this format, that you lead the player through into solving without feeling too easy. And yeah, like I said before, we got post-credits. There's only like 1 or 2 points where I got legitimately lost. Which may have been my own volition. May have been me being dense. But everything else pretty much came really naturally. And came together to make a really great progression of solving a mystery. Plot came together really well. And I really enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. Oh. So I will go back through past recommendations and see if I can find something that looks relatively short to do next. There are a few other things on the horizon, obviously. There's a demo of a, like, fantasy-inspired, like a Phoenix Wright-style visual novel in a magical fantasy setting, which looks really good. And that first chapter is supposed to come out later this month, so it's a very good chance that I'll be checking that out. And then the other looming thing on the horizon is obviously the great Ace Attorney Chronicles coming to Steam. And since it is coming to Steam, you can bet your ass that I'm going to be all over that. Ideally, as soon as possible upon release. So, until then, I'll take any recommendations in these comments. Obviously, I try and file them away for future reference, but there was a really good anthology of recommendations that I got this game from at the end of my last fan game playthrough. I picked this off of that list, and winner. Hell yeah, we're winning today, son. That was an excellent choice, so that's a big thumbs up for that list. I'll try and pick something off of there next, provided it's fairly short. Whatever comes next depends on the timing of things getting released between that one visual novel that I really want to try and the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So we'll see what comes along down the line, but for now, I hope you enjoyed this case as much as I bloody did. Until next time, until then.